Hi, I'm Johnny from ultimatepapermache.com, and one of the most common questions I get about my patterns, the templates for my paper mache masks and sculptures, is how do you make them bigger or smaller? Now, there's two different reasons why people ask that question. One is that they want the entire pattern to get bigger so that they can make a really big sculpture. A lot of people have made the elephant right there for the Lion King play. They put a flat back on it and hold it up in front of the actor, and they make them really big. A lot of people have done that. A lot of people have made really big bears. So they just need to make the whole pattern bigger so that the sculptures that they end up with is larger. Now, the other reason that people ask is because they are making the headdress style mask for a play, like one of the Lion King masks, or any of these here that I've got. And the big question for that is not how to make the whole thing bigger, but how to make the cap portion fit individual actors, because everybody's head is a different size. Making the headdress mask fit is actually pretty easy, and making the whole entire pattern larger or smaller is a little bit more complicated, so let's start with that first. And I'm going to use my moose here as an example. It's really not hard. I made the moose this size because this is the size that actually fits in my house, but it's not life-size moose. They're huge. A lot of people have made much larger mooses. Doesn't sound quite right, does it? Anyway, how do you make it bigger if you want a really big moose? You just simply need to print the pattern pieces bigger. If you print all of them at 200%, he's gonna, well, that's probably about life size. 180% would be fine. And there's two different ways that you can do that. There's an easy way that I highly recommend. And that is just simply take your pattern file down to the local printer and have him print it on bigger paper. But if you want to print them at home, you can do that using your own printer and just use this poster setting on the printer. When you use the poster setting, it's going to give you all the pieces a whole lot bigger, but of course they're going to be on different pages. But your printer, or at least mine does, it gives you registration lines here, and that's because it can't print all the way to the edge. So it's going to give you a margin, and if you cut that off right there along that line, I could have actually used a ruler and made sure I was getting in the right place. And then go ahead and tape your pages together. I printed mine really big, so there's actually two more pieces. I'm not going to do them all here. But once you do get all of these pieces taped together, tape them together a little bit better than I did. I was in a hurry. And then you can cut out the individual pieces after you put them on cardboard. Now, some of the pieces are going to be bigger than your standard cereal box if you've made it really huge like this. So you'll have to tape that together too, just to make sure that you've got enough cardboard under it before you start sticking the pattern piece onto the cardboard and then cutting it out. You do save some money doing it that way, but it is going to take a little bit more time. Now, some people actually want to make the pattern smaller, like maybe if you need a wolf or a bear head to be used as a puppet, you can just print your pattern smaller. As long as every single page is printed at the same percentage, then all the pieces are still going to fit. Some of the pieces might get really little and might be a little harder to put together, but it will still work. This is the new rabbit headdress mask that I'm working on. And when people ask about the sizing of this kind of pattern for the headdress mask, what they're really asking for is how can you make the cap portion fit the head better. The top portion, the actual animal head that's on top, is the right size, but the cap itself might be too small or too big. Like this one, it's just a teensy bit too big for me, maybe a quarter of an inch. In order to make this just a little bit smaller so it's snug on your head, you need to cut this center line at the back, probably up to here. Now, every single pattern has a different pattern for the cap portion. It's just what yours looks like would be different, but there's always going to be a center, obviously. This one isn't cut in the middle, but a lot of them are already, and you've already taped them on. So now what I'm going to do, because I want to pull these together so it's tighter, I'm going to cut right along that line. And I'm just going to kind of tack it together right now with some masking tape. So I'm going to just overlap it a little bit, just like this. Then you want to try it on again because you're still not sure. No? Make it overlap it just a little bit more. Perfect. So now what I'm going to do is I'll just go ahead and finish taping that up with the regular tape, and then cover it. This particular seam you want to cover on both sides, both on the outside and the inside, with some paper strips and paste, or what I'm going to be using for this one is paper strips and wood glue, and that'll make that a really strong seam. Now if your head is a whole lot bigger than mine, then you might actually have to do sort of the opposite thing. You would, instead of overlapping them, just spread them apart a little bit, put in a triangle piece of cardboard, tape it all together, and then you have a bigger mask. Obviously you want to try that one on too before you put the paper mache on, so you know for sure it's going to fit. If you have any questions about enlarging or making the pattern smaller that I forgot to mention in this video, please let us know down below. If you've ever done it, actually, and you want to show off the thing that you've made bigger or smaller, please come back and show it off on the Daily Sculptures page on my website. I would love to see how it comes out. Now go make something and come visit us, ultimatepapermache.com. I'll see you there.